Coming up on News Watch, a Coles County church pastor is behind bars tonight accused of sharing child pornography. Which you caught up on that case. Plus,
and I flipped on the television. The very first thing I saw was my cousin, my dear friend Barb, being carried out of a cornfield in a body bag.
Coming up tonight, a family searches for answers 4 decades after a Champaign woman's killing. Tonight is part 1 of a News Watch special report.
Precipitation is expected for tonight, but will it be rain or snow? I'll have the answer coming up. This is News Watch, and your Tuesday evening's edition starts now.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
Coles County pastor will be in court Monday facing sex charges. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Rashad Jones.
And I'm Matt Williamson. Now that pastor is accused of having child pornography. Jail records show on Friday, Mattoon police arrested 51-year-old Douglas R. Overmeyer for having and disseminating child pornography. According to a circuit clerk charging document, sometime around May 20th, Overmeyer distributed a photo of an underage female and adult male engaging in a sexual act. Court records show Overmeyer is charged with 1 count of child pornography, a felony charge. Now, if convicted, he faces anywhere between 6 and 30 years in prison. He's due back in court Monday morning. Overmeyer was listed as a pastor with Zion Hill United Methodist Church in Mattoon, a small congregation near Lake Paradise. Newswatch reached out to the Global Methodist Church Great Lakes region, and a spokesperson tells us Overmeyer was immediately suspended, and the church condemns any form of abuse. And now for a special report. Decades after a woman was found dead in a cornfield outside of Champaign, investigators are still trying to track down the person responsible.
Newswatch's Olivia Bennett has been looking into the case and has spent weeks talking to investigators and family members. She joins us now with the latest. Olivia.
Thanks, Rashad. Dr. Barbara Bramer's family is searching for answers to the question that has been haunting them for years. This is part 1 of a Newswatch special report, Who Killed Barbara Bramer?
This has to be looking south, I would think, maybe west.
And I flipped on the television. The very first thing I saw was my cousin, my dear friend Barb, being carried out of a cornfield in a body bag. That was such a moment in time when you know your whole life is going to change.
40 years later, snow covers that very cornfield, and Dr. Barbara Bramer's killer is still unknown.
Barb and I were the 2 babies of the family. But she was my favorite buddy, cousin all the time growing up.
They say that you have to be a little bit crazy to be a good psychologist, and Aunt Barbara was.
The thing that I remember probably most about her was that, and she was a traveler.
She was always going to like Japan or India or Europe or England.
I had a postcard collection. I started a postcard collection when I was 5, and she'd send postcards. And I remember being a little bit annoyed that my sisters wanted to have their share of the postcards too. But
I was the lead investigator. Dr. Bramer had taken a bike ride which she normally did in the evenings after work, and she had not returned home.
The next day, reports say Dr. Bramer didn't show up to work.
I mean, I would have been surprised if she missed any appointment, day of work, anything, without calling, letting someone know what her status was.
Dr. Bramer's family says they knew that something was wrong. Very wrong.
Join us tomorrow for part 2, where former Champaign County Sheriff's investigator Kent Fletcher details how the beginning of the investigation unraveled. Parts 3 and 4 will be on Newswatch at 5:30 on Thursday and Friday. Again, join us tomorrow for the next part of Who Killed Barbara Bramer. Back to you.
All right, thanks Olivia for that special report. Now in other news, Eastern Illinois University is updating its safety procedures following an incident last month. On November 10th, university officials issued a campus safety notification that an armed person had been reported on the campus. Following that alert, students and employees expressed concerns about the clarity and reliability of emergency communications during the incident. Earlier today, EIU President Jay Gatrell announced that starting today, all employees and students with a cell phone number on record will automatically receive emergency text alerts. You can register by going to Alert EIU and must opt out if you don't want alerts. The university is also offering ALICE training sessions for students and staff starting January 20th. Now for a Newswatch follow-up. The Illinois State Fire Marshal's office is still investigating a 3-alarmed fire scene in Mattoon. That fire happened on December 3rd on North 16th Street in a building that once housed Christina Lee's Collectible Corner. Fire Chief Jeff Hilligoss says no injuries were reported, but those staying in the building were assisted by the Red Cross. Units from 5 other departments helped Mattoon firefighters on scene.
A local college is showcasing a new facility to help train healthcare workers. Olney Central College is formally dedicating its new Health Professions Center Thursday. The 8,500 square foot facility includes new classrooms, a 6-bed nursing skills lab, 2 nursing simulation labs, a new radiography classroom, and more. State leaders say the $3.5 million project is funded through the Rebuild Illinois program, and they say it will train students for key healthcare careers. The new center is open to the public Thursday evening from 3 to 7 with a dedication ceremony at 4. The Taylorville Fire Department gets some new life-saving equipment. The Taylorville Memorial Hospital Foundation recently gave the department a Lucas chest compression system. This device delivers automatic chest compressions with uninterrupted, guideline-consistent CPR and will help maintain blood flow to the heart and brain. The fire department plans on placing the Lucas device into service once personnel are trained.
Indiana lawmakers have taken another step toward redrawing the state's congressional districts. On Monday, the state Senate Elections Committee approved the plan in a 6-3 vote. The plan is backed by President Trump and would eliminate the districts of Indiana's 2 Democratic congressmen. The state House already passed the plan, and the full Senate is scheduled to vote on it Thursday. It's not clear whether the measure has enough support in the Senate to pass. The Illinois Secretary of State launches several new initiatives that will take effect in the new year. State officials say the initiatives are focused on efficiency and safety. Some of the changes include DMV road safety, increasing library security, and e-filing. It clarifies that giving out answers to DMV exams counts as cheating and allows more funding for alarms in libraries. Plus, the Illinois Court of Claims will focus on electronic filing, preventing delays. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius says the changes will make roads and libraries safer and make the government more efficient.
Help for U.S. farmers is on the way from the White House in the form of a $12 billion aid package. President Donald Trump made the announcement yesterday. Most of the aid will be directed to crop farmers through one-time payments under the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program. The remaining $1 billion will go to farmers whose crops fall outside of who the assistance program covers. President Trump says the aid package is possible due to the proceeds from short tariffs. The Agriculture Secretary says money should begin flowing by the end of February. Thousands of visas are revoked by the White House. The U.S. State Department says it includes more than 8,000 students' visas as part of a broader effort to tighten who can enter and remain in the U.S. A department official says crimes like DUI, assault, and theft account for nearly half of the revocations. Other cases involve overstays and alleged national security concerns. Some of the revocations have sparked First Amendment concerns, especially involving international students tied to protests over the war in Gaza.
Well, Santa Claus is coming to Effingham, but not by sleigh, but rather by fire truck. The Jolly Fellow will visit the city next week. The Effingham Fire Department is hosting its annual Santa Run December 16th through the 18th. Organizers say Santa will hop on a fire truck and visit all neighborhoods to help spread Christmas cheer. The fire department says to see Santa's route, visit the department's Facebook page. Well, Santa and his elves are enjoying temperatures in the 40s today.
They'll savor the warmth because bitterly cold temperatures are returning to the Skywatch forecast. Emily is back with a preview.
I'm definitely trying to hold on to those 40-degree temperatures that we saw today, but as we move into the weekend, lows will return to the single digits. I'll have more on that and a possibility for precipitation coming up.
Hi, I'm Everett Lau, an Eastern Illinois University graduate from the class of 2021. As an Edgar County farm kid, I grew up with a childhood dream of becoming a broadcast meteorologist. I spent a lot of time in the WEIU studio during my 4 years in college, and that's how I got to this studio, WTHI TV in Terre Haute, Indiana. WEIU prepared me for long nights of tracking thunderstorms, fine-tuning details of approaching winter storms, and how to be a broadcaster in general, whether it was weather, news, or even sports. I needed WEIU to achieve my dream, and now WEIU needs me and you to help carry out its mission of setting up students for success. Please consider making a financial gift to support WEIU so the station and its dedicated staff can continue operating this outstanding training ground for aspiring broadcasters, journalists, and scientists. Your gift can allow local students like me provide local programming for our local communities. Learn more at weiu.net or by calling the station. Thanks for watching.
Temperatures were warmer across the entire nation today, partially due to this ridge of warmer air over the Great Plains area, but that included here in Illinois. Temperatures currently around 35 degrees up in Chicago, and looking here more locally, we're seeing temperatures still in the 40s for our current temperatures. Temperatures around 41 degrees currently here in Charleston, although clouds have built as we moved into the evening hours. We did see clearer skies throughout the daytime today, but those clouds have built as we've moved into the evening, and those clouds will continue to build as we move overnight. But today's highs, we saw high temperatures in the low 40s for most of the viewing area, upper 40s down here in Effingham with a high of 47 degrees. Only one location here on our map didn't reach 40 degrees, and that was up in Champaign with a high temperature of 37 degrees. But here in the background, you see those mostly clear skies that we saw today across Eastern's campus earlier today when this photo was taken. But looking at our radar here, we're seeing clouds beginning to develop, and that's because we are going to be seeing a precipitation system move into our area. But this will be rain as we move overnight tonight. We're going to be seeing scattered rain showers as we move throughout the night, not snow as we move overnight, and that's because we're seeing a low temperature overnight of 36 degrees. But along with that, we're going to be seeing a wind advisory be put in place at midnight tonight that'll last until noon tomorrow, and that's because we're seeing winds blowing out of the southwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour overnight, gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour, and that's going to increase as we move into our daytime tomorrow. But looking at the timing of this rain system overnight, we're seeing mostly cloudy skies as we move into the evening, but scattered showers as they move through our area and push off to the east. Not widespread and not heavy rain showers, but scattered showers as they move through. And as we move into the morning hours, we'll still be seeing a few scattered showers in the area, but they will quickly clear up as we move into the daytime tomorrow. The real concern for tomorrow will be the winds. As we start our evening hours tonight, we're going to be seeing winds blowing out of the south to 20 to 30 up to 40 miles per hour gusting of winds, and that's going to continue as we move into the overnight hours, eventually gusting out of the southwest at 30 to 40 miles per hour. And these winds are going to continue to shift as we move into the morning hours and throughout the daytime tomorrow, eventually gusting out of the northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. And this is why we're under this wind advisory until noon tomorrow, because we're going to see those winds continue to gust and shift, eventually blowing out of the northwest for the majority of our daytime tomorrow at 20 to 25 miles per hour in our morning hours as we make it to noon. That wind advisory will expire, and then we're going to see those winds begin to die off. But those northerly winds is going to cause our temperature to cool down throughout the day, not warm up. So we're actually going to be seeing our high temperature of 40 degrees in the early morning hours, and throughout the daytime, we're going to see temperatures slowly begin to cool down, eventually getting below freezing as we make it to the evening hours of your Wednesday. But we're going to be seeing mostly cloudy skies for the majority of your daytime tomorrow. Like I said, a few chances for some scattered showers as we move into the morning hours, but as we move throughout the majority of the day. We're going to be seeing mostly cloudy skies, mostly because this precipitation here that's showing snow on Futurecast will not reach the surface due to our drought that has been ongoing. Now, we're going to be seeing mostly cloudy skies for your daytime tomorrow, along with strong winds. That's going to cause our temperatures to cool down. But another reason why we're seeing these temperatures cool down is the upper level jet stream. We're seeing a trough of colder air sit over top of us tomorrow, and that trough is going to sit over top of us on Thursday and on Friday as we finish off the work week. And it's not going to stop there because it's going to continue to be over top of us as we start our weekend and finish off our weekend, which will cause temperatures to drop down significantly as we look at the next few days. We're going to see a high temperature in the 40s on tomorrow, but that will drop down throughout the daytime before warming up a little bit for the end of our work week. But the real cool down will be this weekend, with temperatures getting down into the 20s and teens for your Saturday and Sunday. And you'll see that here on your 7-day. A chance for snow on Saturday with a high temperature of 20 degrees. Although this will not be heavy snowfall, this will be just a chance for some flurries. And then temperatures are going to cool down into the single digits Saturday night with a low temperature of 4 degrees on Saturday before warming up to just a high of 11 degrees on Sunday. So it's going to be a very cold weekend.
Yeah, well, Emily, those temperatures sounds like a perfect excuse to stay inside and watch some Christmas movies.
Yeah, totally agree with that, Rashad. Thanks, Emily. And coming up tonight in sports, what's next for the Colts at quarterback position following the season-ending injury to Daniel Jones?
But first, Illinois men's basketball opens up Big Ten play tonight, and they face a brutal road test to get it all started. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
It's the season of giving, but when it comes to tips, who should you give to and how much?
Tip who's really gone out of their way to make your life easier this year.
Ted Rossman works at personal finance company Bankrate. They recently conducted a survey about holiday tipping and found 56% of U.S. adults say they usually give bigger tips when they receive better service. But they also found fewer people plan to tip this holiday season.
A lot of people are cutting back, but some, especially high earners, are giving as much or more.
Bankrate came up with a list of the most common people to tip in the U.S., starting with housekeepers. Tips range anywhere from $20 to more than $50, depending on the service, their survey found. And it doesn't have to be cash. The U.S. Postal Service doesn't allow employees to accept cash. But if you want to show your mail carrier appreciation, they can accept a gift of less than $20 or something like baked goods. The more you interact with someone, Rossman says, the more you should tip, like a childcare provider or housekeeper.
Whatever you normally pay them for a weekly service, you might consider doubling that one at the end of the year.
When you're setting your holiday budget, Rossman says it's important to factor in tipping because it can add up fast. Make a list of who is most important and figure out how much you can afford to give. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The 13th ranked Illinois men's basketball team begins Big Ten play tonight as they travel to Columbus to face the red-hot Ohio State Buckeyes. U of I sits at 7-2 after a big road win against the Tennessee Volunteers on Saturday, with their only 2 losses coming to top 10 programs in UConn and Alabama. Head coach Brad Underwood is excited to get conference play going and knows the challenge ahead of them this evening.
Very, very good Ohio State team. Got a team with some veterans, guys that we're very familiar with in their building, coming off a road win in league play. So this is a very, very solid basketball team.
As Underwood alluded to, the Buckeyes are off to a dream start. Ohio State is 7-1 in the early going, including a big road win over Northwestern on Saturday. OSU is receiving votes in the AP poll, will almost certainly enter the top 25 with a big win tonight. The game tips off in just under an hour, and Sports Watch will have the full recap tomorrow. The Indiana Pacers are starting to find their footing after a nightmare start to the season, but can they take down Tyrese Halliburton's former team, the Sacramento Kings? Russell Westbrook turns back the clock. This three-pointer is part of his 24-point triple-double, and the Kings lead early. But that doesn't last, as this steal by Andrew Nembhard leads to a thunderous jam from Pascal Siakam at the other end. Sacramento's not done yet. At Precious Achiuwa drains a precious and one before Westbrook drains another 3 to give the Kings the edge. In the end, however, is Nembhard, who drains 2 big buckets to give the Pacers their 6th victory of the season. Indiana spoils Russ' historic night and takes down the Kings 116-105. Staying on the court, two high school girls basketball teams are in action looking to turn their seasons around. The Charleston Trojans get their first win against Tuscola 48-42. The Trojans are now 1-7 this season and will face Taylorville on Friday. As for the Mattoon squad, the Green Wave fall to Salem Wildcats 38-28. Adriana Veach led the team in scoring, dropping 13 points. The Green Wave will have a chance for redemption facing the Wildcats again tomorrow. An Indiana State football freshman is named to a prestigious team after an impressive first year. Nick Yasko has been named to the FCS Football Freshman All-American team that recognizes the best freshman players from across the subdivision. Yasko finished 7th in the Missouri Valley Conference in tackles per game, averaging 7.4, and finished 3rd on his teams in tackles for loss. This year's All-American squad is headlined by Mercer quarterback Raiden Atkinson, who was named the 2025 Jerry Rice Award winner on December 3rd. Finally tonight, with coach star quarterback Daniel Jones out for the season with a torn Achilles and former 4th overall pick Anthony Richardson not clear from an orbital fracture, who are the coach starting at quarterback? The answer may shock you. It's expected to be former Chargers and Colts legend Phillips Rivers. The 44-year-old was signed earlier today to the Colts practice squad, and Indy is set to start him once he is fully ready to go. Rivers has not played since the 2020 season and was set to be named into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in just a few weeks. That's all for sports. Emily, Matt, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Rashad. And up next, a look at some bitterly cold weather headed to central Illinois. But first, a beloved holiday tradition returns to a Wisconsin neighborhood, and we'll take you on a tour in tonight's parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Take a look at a tense collision caught on camera at a snowy railway crossing in Illinois. Surveillance shows a vehicle approach the tracks but stop shy, just not shy enough, as the car's front end can be seen hanging over the edge of the tracks as the speeding commuter train comes barreling through, smashing into the car and sending it spinning. Thankfully, the driver escaped the encounter with only minor injuries, according to the village of Hinsdale. And if that village sounds familiar, it's because it went viral back in September for another train-related crazy caught-on-cam moment when a commuter in a rush risked life and limb scooching under one train to catch another. And I don't use that term lightly. Scooching, that is. People of Hinsdale, you need to put some respect on your trains. Another close call in South Carolina, however, this wasn't an accident, but instead a very purposeful drone delivery foiled by the fuzz. Officials say officers at the Lee Correctional Facility intercepted an aerial drone that was attempting to drop a bag of contraband inside the prison walls. The bag contained cigarettes, tobacco, marijuana, steaks, seasoning, and crab legs. Clearly someone was expecting a little hovering holiday cheer, but the SCDOC said, not up in here. They later said no arrests were made and, quote, the inmates expecting this package are feeling a bit crabby tonight. Finally, a Wisconsin police department shared video of a crime caught on cam, and it turns out the perp was one of their own. Video shows Pleasant Prairie PD's canine officer Chase swiping the arm off a homeowner's snowman before fleeing the scene. A tongue-in-cheek department post later apologized to the homeowner and said Chase has been placed on administrative leave for arm robbery. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
And finally tonight, nothing says the holidays like a giant inflatable Santa Claus, right? Right? Residents in the Madison, Wisconsin neighborhood are unified in showing their holiday cheer. Giant inflatable Santas have popped up on the front lawns of dozens of homes on Monroe Street for the past 2 years. But this year marks the first time the Santas have significantly spread further around the neighborhood. Homeowners say they do this as a way to spread joy, and they hope more neighbors will continue to join in on the fun. Well, I'm not so sure viewers will find something to cheer about for tonight's forecast. Emily is back to recap some cold weather to come.
It's certainly going to be cold as we move into the weekend, but tomorrow we're going to start a little bit warmer, a high temperature of 40 degrees, but that temperature is going to cool down quickly as we move throughout the daytime, eventually getting to that freezing mark around the late afternoon. So temperatures will be cooling down tomorrow, not warming up, due to winds blowing out of the northwest, cooling off our temperatures. But looking forward to our weekend, we're going to see temperatures drop down significantly past that freezing mark. We're going to see a high temperature of 20 degrees on Saturday with a chance for some scattered snow flurries, and then overnight Saturday night, we're going to see temperatures get back down into the single digits for our low, a low temperature of just 4 degrees Saturday night before warming back up to a high of 11 degrees on Sunday. So certainly a cold weekend, but we might see temperatures start to warm up again next work week with a high temperature of 33 degrees next Tuesday. That's a final look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Emily. That's all the time we have for tonight's edition of Newswatch.
BBC News is coming up next on WEIU, and we'll be back at 10 for another look at Newswatch. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street. The Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.